Death be not proud. We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. We are not gays.
Well, all right, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs and lock in. It's time for the first episode of the My Penis is Dry podcast. I'm your embattled host, Angry Tabletop Nerd. And, I was just going along through life, and then the other day, Games Workshop decided to drop a preview. And in that preview, it looks like we're getting Female Custodes. Now, we didn't want Female Custodes. Well, too bad. We're getting Female Custodes. And the fan reaction to Female Custodes so far has been a slight drop in Games Workshop share prices. They were up to about $27 a share on the U.S. Stock Exchange. Now they're down to about $24.99 on the U.S. Stock Exchange. So it says like 4.83%, but we'll just round it up to 5. Their stock went down 5% because, Games Workshop can't learn from Budweiser. No, it seems like no company wants to learn from what happened to Budweiser with the whole Dylan Mulvaney bullshit fiasco, and I know that Games Workshop doesn't make as much money as Anheuser-Busch, so they're not likely to recover from this anytime soon. Now, we never wanted Female Custodes, but this is exactly what happens when you don't gatekeep the hobby hard enough. We were not the strong, straight, white, male disciples of the watch that we were supposed to be. And if we had just been a little bit sexist, a little bit racist, we probably could have prevented this entire fiasco. All right? Sisters of Battle wasn't enough. It would seem that the minority within the minority of the hobby, the 0.002% of gamers out there, have won. And this is utterly disgraceful. It really is. And I just wish we did gatekeep a little bit harder. The primary argument used by GW is that they are a woke company. You are dealing with a British company. There is not a more woke country than the UK, except for maybe its punk-ass little brother, Canada, and the Great White North, okay? They want to increase representation and accessibility to new players. Again, the minority within the hobby. The Grimdark universe, this is coming directly from them. The Grimdark universe can evolve while maintaining its core themes. And did I mention that Vanguard and BlackRock own 10% of Games Workshop? And Larry Fink has publicly advocated for behaviors of acceptance for companies, behaviors of acceptance for LGBTQ, Muslims, and race mixing. Like whenever you turn on the TV in the UK and some white woman will be on the Tide Pod commercial and she'll be with her brown Pakistani husband and they'll have mixed Pakistani babies. That's what you turn on to. That's what you tune into whenever you watch UK TV. It's always a half Pakistani family now because they're trying to promote white women getting with brown guys in the UK, especially the Pakistanis, because Keir Starmer didn't have the foresight to make it into law banning first cousin marriages. Incest is right by them. And how do I know that incest is right in the UK? Just look at some of their women. They're uglier than the Klingon women. And you kind of dropped the ball, GW. You could have had these very strong female archetypes at any given time. They were called the Sisters of Silence, but you didn't want to pass the baton on to them because in the UK, women have a tendency to be vocal. And if watching British TV has taught me anything, is that they never seem to shut up. Once they get on an issue, that's the entire episode of Love Thy Neighbor. Just whatever the wife wants to nitpick the husband for. All right? A shift toward inclusivity, a broader effort to make Warhammer 40K feel like it belongs to everyone. Therefore, you get fat G.I. Joes and non-binary Transformers on Netflix. What are we looking at? What we are looking at in this day and age, in this new age, 2026, is we are going to see the full and total erasure of all male escapism. Nothing is safe from the message of white women hooking up with Pakistani males in the UK, or just the mud shark mom virus that has taken hold of the white women in the United States, you know. I'm sure you've all seen the memes on Instagram. They're hilarious. Shows a woman being thrown down the stairs by her black husband, and then it says, abortion, coming soon to theaters in 7 to 8 days near you. All right? But the hive mind has spoken clearly. We are not allowed to escape from this, and so we're going to have to endure the changes that the butt-twerking queer community want to make to our hobby. And I, for one, I've been a big supporter of GW over the years. I really have, you know. I buy lots of shit. I mean, I painted this guy, for Christ's sakes. You know, he's going to be off the table this week. I'm painting this guy. I, myself, am not immune to big and shiny releases. When they re-released Old World, they got $400 out of me right away. And it really kind of just cheeses me off that they would go this route. Like, it's the wokeification of every single hobby out there, you know? I don't know. It'll eventually. I'm sure it's already come to Pokemon in some way and infected Nintendo just a little bit, even though the Japanese tend to be 10 times more based than their misty island dwelling cousins over in the UK. But this year, I want to put something out there. I really want to put something out there. I was thinking maybe what we can do is go hashtag pirate it. There you go. You can show off all your pirated IP and just paint it up, throw it on Instagram under the terms hashtag pirate GW. You know, because it's not like they can track down all the STL printer people out there and everybody. And the best part about this, the best way to punish GW is just give them shitty quarters. Buy secondhand, 3D print what you need, and really send a message to BlackRock and Vanguard that this affront to our senses of female Custodes will not stand. Just like in the 90s when George Bush was like, this aggression will not stand. This will not stand. We just have to take a stand. Reach deep and find the hate in our hearts, okay? And if you have hate in your heart, let that hate out. Don't let the liberal media tell you how to think and feel. If you don't like Will and Grace, that don't mean there's something wrong with you. That means there's something wrong with Will. Will is a homosexual. And I don't know if he plays Warhammer, but we would like to get him into the hobby if we're over here in the UK, you know, making our Warhammer 40K in the Grim Dark. They already have like lesbian shit in open view on some of the novellas that they play on Warhammer Plus. You already have the two beta cuck presenters talking about she, the Shield Maiden. They've just, for me, they've pitched an all new low. They really have. So, you know, I was going to go and buy some kill rigs. I got one over there I never built. So I already have a kill rig. But now, for the big hunt list that I'm putting together, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 3 more of these Nazilla models. I've say that 3 times fast. Nazilla, 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 Nazilla. I'm going to buy some of these from their competitor at 99 euros a pop, I guess. Or I might find some Nazilla, Nazilla, Nazilla secondhand on eBay, you know? They're going to get a little bit less of my money. As a matter of fact, when my I have some GW paints that are literally drying up. I'm not going to replace them. I'm going to replace them with their Army Painter equivalent and or Vallejo Game Color equivalent. Because we need to say that we're here, we're straight, and we don't want any more female custodes or the idea or notion of female space marines entering our hobby. What part of no girls allowed didn't you understand? And for the few girls that do play, that's going to be a completely different show. That will be a completely different show where it's like, how often do I have to tell you guys not to simp? Okay? We're going to start another movement after the next show about not following females who painted a miniature that one time and then show their ass off on OnlyFans. Can't we agree that if we block them too, we can safeguard the hobby? Maybe we can bring it back. I just want to bring it back to where you walk into the game store and the first thing you smell is pizza and BO. That's how it used to be, and I think, well, now it's gotten worse. The first thing you see when you go into a game store these days are the butt-twerking queers. They tend to be everywhere. But are these people really buying anything? I don't know. But if we don't take a stand now, we're just going to lose everything that's holy and sacred in the world. And the message that I want you to bring out from this video is we need to gatekeep. We need to wake the fuck up and open our eyes that this isn't happening someplace far away. It's happening right here, right in our own goddamn backyard. You know, a while back when they came out with this Age of Sigmar BS, I tried to rally people to the banners of Warlord and Mantic. Nobody cared. Everybody went off on their own tangents. You had the people who wanted to jerk off Ninth Age. You had the people that were just opening up their mouths to receive Games Workshop's cock in their mouth and give them even more of their money. And then 10 years later, I'm vindicated when they bring it back and then Old World starts going gangbusters. You know, maybe we shouldn't be deferring to them for every little thing, every little rules change. We know it's not hard to pick an edition and play it. It really isn't. And it's really sad that they can't even write rules anymore, that you have to wait until the end of an edition just to be able to play 40K. That's what me and my friends did. The edition was so bad when it came out, you had to wait for everybody to get a book. You had to wait for them to finish dumping the game on the community and letting the tournament dickheads fix the game just so you have a playable version of it because they're too lazy to write it. I mean, you're talking about a company that puts out a Necron Codex. Here, we put out the Necron Codex, and what did you get? You got a next day FAQ because they made some boo-boos, and some things were too good, and they were too underpriced, and it broke the game. They did the same thing for the Tyranids. They couldn't fix, I think they had the FAQ, Armor of Contempt, 3 times. It was bullshit when it came out in 9th edition. It was bullshit today. They had the FAQ, Oath of Moment, like 3 times. And if you're Blueberry Marines, you can still move on to the next target because it's your Oath of Moment turn. It's not something that you can do once per game. It's something that you get to do every turn because everything in the Space Marine Army has to be for that special fucking autist, right down to every decision. Like, oh, I'll take a repulsor tank. I'll take a repulsor tank. I'll take some Blade Guard veteran. God, this is so easy. It's pretty much everything I take is almost a no-brainer. I'll take some Eradicators. Look, I get to reroll to hit you. I get to reroll to wound you. I didn't roll good enough on the damage. I get a reroll to my damage output on you. Just for free, and it's not even Oath of Moment. So, God damn, it's just sensory overload today for me. It really is. So what I want to know is what you guys are going to do this year about it. And so I'm starting the hashtag. Pirated from Games Workshop or something like that. I will have something out on Instagram about this. About Hashtag didn't get it from Games Workshop. There we go. Hashtag I didn't get it from Games Workshop, ladies and gentlemen. I went over to Cromlech and I got myself Nazilla. I'll put a picture of him up on Instagram. I'll put a picture of what I 3D printed up on Instagram and painted, because they're never going to get my custom anymore. This is worse than that episode of Love Thy Neighbor where...
Got you! What are you doing? Caught you red-handed with your black paw in the till, you pilgrim packy! Please, you're making a big mistake. Yes, that's what they all say. You're making a mistake, my little chocolate drop. Bert! Who is it, Bert, you're calling for? Bert Thompson, the owner mush. He'll soon sort you out. Bert!
Well, I'm afraid, sir, you'll have to be shouting much louder than that. Bert will never hear you in Bognor Regis.
What's he doing in Bognor Regis?
He is retired. Mr. Bert himself say, bloody jacket only. I am the new owner.
Oh, no, not another nickname.
Please, I am no knick-knack. I am Pakistani. Different color altogether.
You're all the same to me, Sabu.
Please. No politics. Now what can I be doing you for? We have lovely pumpadums, curry powder, green figs, groundnuts.
Listen, haven't you got any English food?
English food round the back.
Round the back?
Oh yes, we must cater for the masses.
The masses? We are the masses.
Not in this neighborhood. Only last week, 28 Pakistani families moved to the beach road.
28 Pakistani families? How many houses did they sell?
2.
Typical, isn't it? Well, let me tell you this, Bungadin. You won't get my custom. I shall shot my own kind. From now on, I'm going to the qual.
Where the guy goes into the store and he catches this Pakistani dude with his hand in the till, and he's like, "Oh, I caught you, you little chocolate drop, right with your hand in the till. Burke! Burke!" And the guy, he has kind of like this head wobble. He's like, "Who is this Burke you are speaking of?" "Oh, Burke, I bought the store from him. He will never hear you in Bognor Regis. I have opened up this shop to cater to the masses." And he says, "But I'm British. We are the masses. Not in this neighborhood, you aren't." There you go. That's what happens. The British didn't. This is a good example in history where you didn't gatekeep, and before you knew it, your entire neighborhood was Pakistani. And he asked how many houses were sold. Well, only 3, and 35 families moved into those 3 homes. And this is what we're going to get. We need to fight the good fight every single moment. No more of this, "Oh, we forgive you, Games Workshop, because you came out with something that we all liked." You have to make them reach for it. You have to make them work extra hard for it. As a matter of fact, I know there's a lot of dumbasses out there that are just going to go in and they're going to buy 11th edition. They're going to buy 11th edition and it's going to be like, "Well, I forgive you, Games Workshop. Look at all the big new shinies we're getting in 11th edition." If you can let 11th edition fall flat on its ass, the same way the Skaven box set for Sigmar did, and the same way that Saturnine did for 30K, if you just give them another flat release, let that share price drop from 25, maybe down to about 15. Let them get sued from BlackRock and Vanguard citing systemic risk. Maybe, just maybe, some of the people who still care over at Games Workshop, and there's got to be one or two, will pull their heads out of their asses and finally re-retcon this bullshit and put out a decent edition of fantasy that doesn't have a wordy rule book, and they'll go back to 2nd edition 30K. The problem is we don't riot. We don't riot with our wallets, and we always go back and we always forgive them. But, you know, I'm like I said, I'm thinking Nazilla, I'm thinking secondhand, I'm thinking 3D printer, and Games Workshop and their British sensibilities can suck my fat, white guy American dick all day, every day. God fucking speed. Nazilla, Nazilla, Nazilla. Hashtag not Games Workshop.
Human. Females are so repulsive.
So there you have it, Internet. The first show of the year on the books of My Penis is Dry podcast. I'm going to let the world know that I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Now, if you want to support me, you can do the whole social media thing. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Don't forget to follow me over on Rumble. If you're following me over on Rumble and you leave a like, one Rumble like is worth 2 Prude Tube likes. But in any case, in case I don't see you, keep playing, keep fighting the good fight. Links to my social medias are below, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay metal, my friend.
Even you, puppy dog. Hey, you need to grow a sack!